Hey, what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button, follow button, whatever. Um, I've been thinking on the Tucker Carlson stuff, and I don't know, but I'd went and uh this just now been here about an hour scamming over some stuff, and seen a few things that I would like to bring to people's attention, or just to try to get it out there into the domain. That way, uh, people can can see what's going on. The first video I'd like to show you is a woman who's out in Arizona. I guess they was having a meeting or something. I'm gonna play it while I speak. While I speak about it, and it's like she went around this room and took all the Bibles out of us side, hid them. This video had audio, so I'm sorry about that. But and I mean, how disgusting! This, I think, is depriving somebody of their religion, of whatever. Really, sickening. It is sickening. I mean, why would you do that to somebody? Why would you deprive them of anything? I mean, we ought to be used to it now because our government is trying to take away a lot of our things that they wish that they could. They wish they could. And here's a news article that I seen. Do I think it'll happen? I don't know, but this is a good chunk of money. Everybody knows if Tucker Carlson comes to their network or whatever, it's going to shoot to number one. They'll make triple that. They'll make triple that. I mean, he was the number one dude, late night or evening show. He was beating all of them. And this Robert Murdoch, or whatever his name is, a globalist. I mean, and if you really dig down in it, BlackRock owns Dominion, all the voting systems, and Fox has stock in all of it. So I mean, they sued their own self to put on a show to try to throw us off guard. They think we're idiots, and we're not. We're far from it. Uh, it's gonna come down to it to where somebody's gonna have to start another news organization or something to where the common person or the right can have a place to stream some stuff. I mean, they're taking away everybody. Next it'll be Laura, that Laura girl. Then it'll be Hannity. Then it'll probably be Maria Bartiromo or whatever her name is. That's who's going to be next. They're going to get rid of all of them. It don't matter. The reason they got rid of Tucker, he just done a speech at the Heritage Foundation, and he was like, "Look, I'm not." And he done a podcast with some young boys saying, "Look, I'm not lying. I done it for years. I'm not lying." The globalists are running it, and you have to go watch it. Uh, Tucker Carlson at the Heritage Foundation or something, and it was good. It was really good. But here, OAN, I think they're trying to get. They got um a meeting with him or something, and they're offering to pay him $25 million. I mean, Fox is the one who's losing. I mean, they've lost. They've just killed. They've shot themselves in their own foot. Cause I mean, who else are you going to get to fulfill that spot that's going to have the ratings? He had the number one rating show like for the past few months. For me, the only reason I watched Fox was specifically for Tucker Carlson. Because, I mean, I think he was trying to be genuine and legit. And then I came across this article here. Uh, um, right here. The Taliban have reportedly killed the Islamic State terrorist who orchestrated the deadly attack against the U.S. troops in Afghanistan during the August 2021 withdrawal of the United States force from the country. I mean, I always heard it. Oh, there's a plan in. I think there really is a plan in place. I think they've been one in place because I mean, why are you gonna leave billions of dollars to the terrorists? And for the longest time, they told us that the Taliban was terrorist, and now it's coming out that the Taliban had killed some people to protect the Americans. Did it wasn't Joe Biden who left them? It got blamed on him. I think somebody else left the weapons. That way, the Taliban can take control of their own country. Who we went over there and invaded just for the poppy and whatever else the minerals. I mean, it's sickening. We are a dirty, dirty country for some of the things that we've done, and I think we're getting on track. It says that it's challenged and it's starting to take out the ISIS. Um, but I mean, none of this is by accident. It's all a movie. We're just. I think the movie's done been played. I think that all we're seeing now is it has to play out now. Like Joe Biden. Uh, I mean, our military knew what it was about. I think it was our military who asked that Trump run. So I mean, something is going on behind the scenes that we don't need to know about, and we don't. We don't need to know everything going on. And yeah, I thank God that um, we're finally getting a little grip on it, but it looks horrible. It looks horrible. And we all need to, I mean, if something goes south, we all need to stay in prayer. We need to stay on the right side of history. Most of all, we need to stay in God's grace. Uh, and it ain't easy by staying on the good side or staying right with the Lord. He even said this path ain't going to be easy. When I first became a Christian, I thought it was peaches and creams. It was going to be better uh, and all that. And it hasn't been. I've had great times, don't get me wrong, but serving God is hard. But it's harder serving the devil. A lot easier being happy and full of life instead of beat down, dead, and yeah, it's. I mean, we need to keep praying, and I think God might bring us out of this. Here's the article: McCarthy on the debt ceiling. Uh, they're saying, oh, if it makes it through the Senate, Biden's gonna veto it. So who is the one that wants this country to default on their debt? Here's a clip. Let's listen to it here.
Money, that's already happened. But are we about to run out of borrowing ability? And if we can't borrow and we can't pay our nation's bills, we go into default. If that happens, of course, we're in big trouble. And we hit the debt ceiling, our borrowing limit, 2 months ago. And since then, the U.S. Treasury has been using what are called extraordinary measures to borrow money to pay our bills in spite of hitting the debt ceiling. But that can't last forever. Those extraordinary measures to borrow will be exhausted between July and September this summer. And that means if the debt ceiling is not raised so we can borrow more money, our nation and thus our economy is in real trouble. Last week, Republican Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy proposed a spending and debt bill. That bill would pair a $4.5 trillion in spending cuts with a $1.5 trillion increase in the current $31.4 trillion U.S. federal debt limit. This week, the House will vote on that bill. Here's a summary of what the bill would do. It would suspend the nation's $31.4 trillion borrowing limit through March 31st, 2024, or until it increases by another $1.5 trillion. It would cut a wide range of government spending to last year's levels, which is a decrease of about 9%. Growth would be capped at 1% annually over the next 10 years. That cap alone, according to the Republicans, would save roughly $3.2 trillion compared to current projections. The Republican House plan would cancel remaining unspent COVID funds, Biden's efforts to relieve about $400 billion in student debt, and it would target the $80 billion investment plan for the IRS. And it would repeal incentives for climate-friendly energy that was passed as part of the Inflation Reduction Act. Biden and the Democratic-controlled Senate are likely to reject the Republican-led House proposal. Republicans do hold a narrow majority in the House, and McCarthy said that he is confident of securing enough votes to pass his bill in the House chamber. McCarthy also invited President Joe Biden to discuss the debt ceiling with him. Pennsylvania Congressman Scott Perry joins me. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Greta. You're absolutely right. Look, the president doesn't get a blank check here.
All right. Are you willing to negotiate? Okay, I get that. Are the Republicans willing to negotiate a little bit of what's in that bill that's coming up for a vote?
Well, look, that's the point. The president says he's not going to negotiate. He wants a blank check. And he thinks that we can't pass anything. And we're here to say, as a person who has never voted for a debt ceiling increase, I didn't come to Washington to bankrupt my country. We're willing to do something, but you've got to come to the table. And this is what we're saying. We'll start out with this on the table. What are you going to do?
Has there been any phone calls to the White House and invitations from the White House, or invitations from the Speaker of the House that let's sit down and talk?
Well, as you know, the president told Speaker McCarthy that he wanted to have a second conversation. They had one, but I think that was over 70 days ago, Greta. So I think what the president is hoping to do is just run out the clock. And they say, oh, my goodness, we need another clean, we need to just increase the borrowing limit again without changing how we got here. And of course, if you do that, all that does is guarantee that you're going to be further in debt the next time that you do this. So the House has said, look, we've got a proposal here. Let's talk about this. Let's negotiate. And the president does. The president is the one that doesn't want to negotiate here. I think that's the point.
Obviously there's a lot of disagreement on what's in the Republican bill and what the president wants to do. But for the life of me, there's one provision in the Republican bill that I would think would be somewhat attractive to Democrats. And the bill, what it would be is it require able-bodied adults with no dependents, no children, that they work 20 hours a week to qualify for help. And by working, it doesn't even mean necessarily a job. It means seeking work, training, volunteering. It's basically being productive. I mean, that one seems like was something the Democrats should get on board with, because we all want to help a little. But if you can work, we're willing to help you.
Yeah, you should work is the point. Now, look, I think the work requirements should be more robust than that. But here's the point. Democrats in the past did vote for these things. Democrats, including Bill Clinton, and most importantly, Democrats, including Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden. So they should not have any heartburn with this, and people should be working. You see help wanted signs all around the country. People are desperate to have the help needed at their businesses, and people should get back to work. And so we want to incentivize them doing it. Democrats shouldn't be opposed to this. Democrats haven't helped in this at all. All they want to do is increase the borrowing. They're not interested in our fiscal solvency in the United States, and it shows by the fact that they're not interested in helping us solve this problem.
Well, you say Democrats. I mean, there's some moderate Democrats in the part of the moderate Republicans who want to have a little bit of a conversation on this. I mean, are you saying that all the Democrats are unwilling to sit down and talk about this?
Well, I haven't seen one Democrat with a proposal other than demanding that we pass a debt ceiling that just increases the limit. Can you tell me of one Democrat proposal? I haven't heard of any.
Well, I mean, the real problem is trying to get both sides to talk. I'm not saying either side is going to budge. I'm not even, picking a horse in this or other. But if you don't talk, I mean, if the president doesn't say, come see me to Speaker McCarthy, or McCarthy doesn't send an invitation down to, the White House to say, there's no way we're going to get any place, because you'll pass your bill in the House. It'll get rejected in the Senate. We go into default this summer, and both sides blame everybody, and you throw our economy into a spin.
Okay, so first of all, let's make sure of a couple of things. We have record revenue coming to the federal government right now, and we're not going to default on the most important things like paying our debts, paying our bills, Social Security, Medicare, veterans benefits. That's number one. Number two, the president is the one that says he will not negotiate. It's not Speaker McCarthy. It's not the House members that have said they won't negotiate on the Republican side. It is the president himself, and the Democrats in both the House and the Senate have backed him up on that.
Thank Congressman Scott Perry. Thank you. We'll see what happens next week. Thank you, sir.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, news tonight in the cable.
Biden and his woke DOJ, the Louisville Police Department, and Daniel Cameron led him.
All right, so there you have it. How do I get myself? All right, so Biden, I mean, I think the woman was right when she said, "Oh, they're gonna let it run out. That way they can just get a blank check," and that's probably what he's doing. And we don't need to give him a blank check. We'll be in a lot worse. We'll be a lot worse off than what we are now. So I hope everybody has a great day. I hope that was some good information. God bless you, and remember, Jesus loves you.